Good evening and welcome to Lee County Soccer from New Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports. Live from Watson Memorial Stadium, it is the battle for Lee County on the soccer pitch tonight as the Hobbs Eagles host the Lovington Wildcats. With Dawn Morgan, I'm TJ Miracle, Evie Stuber, keeping an eye and an ear on things back at One Radio Square. So into the soccer season, we are 6 games in for both of these squads, and it has been somewhat of a mixed bag for both Hobbs and Lovington thus far in the early going. For the home team, Hobbs Eagles, they come in at 3-2 on the season, opening up a couple of weeks ago, knocking off Artesia 3-1, then taking on Santa Teresa and losing 3-1, traveling down to Gadsden and winning in double overtime 4-3 before losing to Mayfield here at Watson Stadium 2-0. And then beating Las Cruces in Las Cruces a couple of days ago, 4-1. So looking to improve to a couple of games over 500 are the Hobbs Eagles. On the other side of the pitch, for the Lovington Wildcats, they are 2-3 so far on the year. They opened up against New Mexico Military back on August the 21st and lost to Nimi 2-1. Then they took on Clovis and won that one 4-3 in thrilling fashion. Then they traveled up to the Los Alamos tournament and knocked off Aztec 5-0 in the first game of that one before losing to Clovis, a team they'd previously beat by 1. They lost by 1, 3-2 in 2 overtimes, and then losing to the host Los Alamos Hilltoppers squad this past weekend by a score of 4-1. So for the Lovington Wildcat squad, they're trying to get back to 500 on the year, Dawn.
Yeah, well, what's good about the both of these teams is that they're very competitive no matter who they're playing, and Lovington has shown up well against teams above them. Against, they've lost to Clovis, they've beaten Clovis, but then they lost to Clovis, a 5A team. So they're doing well against their own size, and they're knocking off, and when they've lost, they've at least kept it very close. It's been very, very close. So and Hobbs kind of the same as they've had some very close matches, and even their losses really they're not getting blown out of the stadium in their losses. They've kept it very close, very competitive, and that's a good thing. So these are two tales of teams who you really can't just look at their season record and take it on that season record. That you understand the teams and that you know what's going on, that, they're a 2-3 team. Well, they're a 3-2. You've got to really look at their wins and losses, who they're playing, how close those matches were, and that tells the story about their team more so. And what's good about that, we're early on in the season, and if they're keeping it that competitive and keeping their seasons that close to 500, just under or just above, then they're doing a pretty good job, and the future looks pretty good for both of these teams. Unfortunately, they're playing each other tonight.
Well, they are, and of course, as you mentioned, still a long way to go in the season, a very long season. Both these programs making the playoffs 1 year ago. Of course, Hobbs under head coach Reyes Marcus, who used to be the head coach at Lovington, and both squads under Coach Marquez do have state titles under him. Lovington making the playoffs last year, but bowing out rather early. Hobbs an upset, and they were out before the Albuquerque portion of that one. So, looking for a little bit of bounce back. One thing I think I know we're going to see it out of Hobbs. It's the way Coach Marquez wants to run things. They are going to be an attack-first team. They're really going to try and drive their strikers and their flankers up the wings and try and pull the defense to the wings and then open up somebody coming right through the middle for a one-time give and go into the middle and then shoot it on past the goalkeeper. That was something Lovington had a little bit of problem with last year. They were a little bit on defense. Sometimes they were a little bit too passive, and they never, ever, at least in the about 10 or 12 games we saw last year, they never really went into full attack mode. Yeah. They would keep everybody back around the midfield. They would play almost a passive game and wait for the other team to make a mistake before they would then move on and attack. I think if Lovington wants to move past that, they are going to have to be on the attack more often.
They are. And, that's not to take anything away from the defense, because what they were doing with that is saying, okay, we feel like we've got really good condition guys, and what we're going to do is we're just going to wear your legs down a little bit, and we're going to stay out there. We're going to just try to keep you from scoring, keep you out on the field. We're going to, really, and then toward the end of the match, a lot of times, or if they got lucky and had a really open look, they would take it before them. But then they got really serious about trying to score, toward the end of the match. And so it's kind of a battle of two different strategies here and these teams. And Coach Mark has built up a really good program. They've kept it strong in Lovington, which is great. But Hobbs has got some revenge last year. I know that they felt like they didn't get their shot at what they felt was a good chance at a state title last year, at least playing through longer into the playoffs. So I think they're wanting to win every match they can on the way toward that goal this year, and I think that they've got that in mind. So they definitely, have something to prove. And I think that there's a little bit of that, hey, we've still got some players maybe that, who remember or even played for Hobbs coach now, Marcos Reyes. He's a great coach, but two good teams, two solid teams, and going at each other with slightly different approaches, at least that they've shown in the past. It'll be interesting tonight to see, because that Hobbs is going to come out and attack. They're going to spread out the field side to side, as you mentioned, and then work on finding the hole. When that happens, when you spread them out, then it's looking at where's your weakest point that we can get through and take a good shot on goal.
And with that, we will take a timeout for the national anthem and the introduction of the players. We'll come back with the starting lineups and the kickoff. It's Hobbs and Lovington Soccer, Lovington Sports YouTube, Hobbs Sports YouTube, and HobbsAmerica.com. And welcome back to Lovington and Hobbs Soccer from New Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports on HobbsAmerica.com, Lovington Sports YouTube, and Hobbs Sports YouTube. I'm TJ Miracle alongside Dawn Morgan, taking a look at the starting lineups for these two squads. We will start with the visiting Wildcats. And starting in the cage tonight, it'll be number 1, Hayden Alexander, the senior keeper. Then you've got number 2, sophomore midfielder Saul Zuniga. Number 3, senior defenseman Matthew Contreras. Number 5, senior forward Javier Rios. Number 7, senior striker Alejandro Mendoza. Number 11, junior forward Brandon Banuelos. Then number 13, sophomore midfielder Josue Gomez. Number 15, sophomore defenseman Josue Herrera. Then number 16, defenseman sophomore Julian Gallegos. Number 17 is defenseman senior Abraham Rodriguez. And then junior forward number 19, Matthew Nava. For your Hobbs Eagles this evening, starting as the goalkeeper will be number 1. The junior keeper is Azael De La Cruz. Also starting tonight, sophomore midfielder Fabian Segovia. Number 6, senior midfielder Dominic Salas. Number 7 is senior striker Juan Camacho. Watch for him on the wings. Then you've got number 8, sophomore midfielder Orlando Galindo. Number 9 is sophomore striker Joel Gomez. Number 10 is junior midfielder Josh Davia. Number 11 is sophomore defenseman Brandon Almanza. Number 13 is freshman midfielder Alex Cordova. Number 15 is an 8th grader defenseman Nathan Flores. And finally, number 21 defenseman sophomore Ian Hernandez. Oh, those will be the two sides out on the pitch here this evening. As a beautiful evening for soccer, a little bit of breeze. Oh, thank goodness. We here at the Sweat Box, also known as the home side of Watson Stadium this time of year.
There's less of a breeze into the box, but oof.
We'll take what we can get.
Yeah.
91 degrees and cloudy here as we get ready to start this one. Of course, our first of 6 football games, if you will, this week. Our only soccer game this week. But, of course, Lovington will be at home tomorrow on the American football pitch against the Carlsbad Cavemen. And the Hobbs Eagles will be taking on the Roswell High Coyotes for homecoming. So that's what we are looking at on that side of things. The Hobbs JV football team, American football, in action tonight down in Jowl at Panther Stadium, taking on the Jowl varsity. That game scheduled to start Jowl Sports YouTube channel coming up here in just about 45 minutes or so.
So it's a busy night of sports, unusually on a Thursday here, but again, we'll take it. And tomorrow night, a busy as well. And I don't think this week we ended up with any. Yeah, we don't have anything on Saturday. This at least not now.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. No. There could be some change with small schools and lack of referees for tomorrow night, as we've seen in the past.
You never know with weather, possibly tomorrow too.
Very true. Of course, it's been beautiful all week. And despite a little cloud cover, which we're happy for because it keeps the full glare of the sun right into the camera here, since we're looking out toward the west from east to west in the box. But we ended up with beautiful afternoon, evening weather all week until we get to Friday night football.
That's the way it generally works, I think.
And we have a pretty good chance, 20-30% chance, maybe up to 40 for tomorrow evening. So we'll keep it. Let's hope that keep it at bay.
Hopefully so. For the Wildcats, they will be in the road white unis, the all white unis with blue letters and numbers. Alexander, the keeper, wearing the pink jersey. For the Hobbs Eagles, they are in the home black unis with the black tops, black shorts, white letters and numbers, and their keeper in the neon green and black trim jersey. So getting ready to start this one off. Of course, we've got 2 40-minute halves in high school soccer. And the Hobbs Eagles and the Lovington Wildcats, a battle for Lee County, a 5A, 4A matchup out on the pitch tonight here at Watson Memorial Stadium. So not a bad crowd on hand for this evening's affair.
Yeah, everybody is seated over on the visitors' side. So you've got Hobbs, most of the Hobbs crowd on the north side of those stands, and most of the Lovington on the south side of the visitor stands. That way they could pull in and park on the visitor side, on the campus side of the parking over there.
And Hobbs will start out with the ball, and we are underway. Is coming near side to Segovia. Segovia feeds it into the midfield. He'll take that to Davia. Davia over onto the near side for Hernandez. Then a little bit of pressure applied by Lovington, trying to find a way to break out on the near side. That is Camacho. Camacho weaves through traffic, puts it back, and he'll go take it himself out around the 40-yard line. On the American football side, that'd be the 50 line here in soccer. Working up on the far right side, that'll be Gomez. Gomez feeds it forward on the run. It's Flores. Flores takes it in the middle, knocked out by Contreras, and he will just have to kick that one away. And it'll be a throw-in for Hobbs on the far side, already trying to get a little pressure up.
Oh, you bet. And we knew we were going to see this, right? And Lovington, for their part, well, they're just kind of trying to knock it away and keep it out of Hobbs' hands to be able to set up, a good shot on goal.
Hobbs looking for a little room on the far sideline. Lovington trying to collapse in. Looking for a little space, moving it through and around is Galindo under pressure. Now on a little bit of a mistake coming over and getting it will be Matthew Nava. Nava, though, loses it in the midfield. Taking it back through, the two teams dribble through. Hobbs trying again to contain and maintain control. Loose ball and goes onto the foot of Zuniga. Zuniga feeds it up into space, but nobody home except for Salas, as that one will go all the way through to the Hobbs keeper, De La Cruz, and he'll take it back out. De La Cruz working it up the far sideline. And Lovington will throw it in. On the Hobbs end of the field, Lovington attacking the north goal, Hobbs attacking the south goal. On the throw-in, off the bounce, Almanza with it, and he'll just kick it back into the midfield where it'll bounce off of a Wildcat player and into some space where Hobbs will take back over on the near side. Moving through, looking for some space is Galindo. He's got a bouncing ball forward and offsides. Lovington, or rather Hobbs, had what they wanted right there. Flores was breaking free. Alexander, playing a little dangerous, had come well out of the cage to defend that. Fortunately, offsides for Hobbs, and so that will give it to Lovington.
Yeah, they got just a little too anxious on that, move forward a little too fast.
So Contreras, the outstanding senior defenseman, will boot it towards the goal, and having to come out will get it. It'll be De La Cruz. No shot on goal.
Just close
came
enough.
out and working on the defense. Little pressure on the near side as it comes onto the foot of Hernandez. Moves it back towards the middle with Camacho. Trying to work it towards the middle. A couple of Cats collapsing in on the Eagle there and moving it out. And we'll have a foul called on Hobbs. So free kick for the Wildcats. Bouncing over, and that could be a bouncing ball. Mendoza into the cage and overshoots. Mendoza with an opportunity, but shoots it high over the head of De La Cruz. A bouncing ball. We talked about it. Lovington was a team last year that liked to capitalize on mistakes and almost do right there. So it'll wind up being a corner kick for the Wildcats.
Yeah, nice.
As that'll be Nava on the corner kick.
And officially first shot on goal there.
So first shot, first save in the books for De La Cruz. And so now they're going to run the set play off the corner kick. Nava ready as he'll spin it towards the goal, and that one is into the side of the cage.
Just a miss kick there.
Just a miss kick for sure.
He was trying to get it just in front of the right front goal post.
Trying to bend it like Beckham.
Bend it a little bit and get one of his frontmen right there to slide it into the net. Just didn't work.
De La Cruz will take it back to one of his defensemen as Lovington Nava comes up to try and put some pressure on. Hobbs trying to get it out of harm's way. Hobbs still controls and looking for some space. That'll be Davia working the far side.
So far in this match, we're early on, but we've spent more time down here in the Hobbs zone of this pitch than we have in Lovington's.
In the 5th minute of play, Lovington with a little room and trying to find another streaker through the middle. No good as that one intercepted off the foot of Flores. Back to Davia to Flores, and then they'll pop it over to Camacho. Camacho bouncing ball into the middle. Davia trying to get to it. It is kicked out of the way there by, that was Mendoza, and then on to the near side. Mendoza will pick it up, and then they'll call a foul on a slide tackle by Segovia.
Yeah.
And they're actually going to call that one on Mendoza, so it'll be Hobbs' ball.
Pretty good footwork there and a nice battle for the ball at the feet of those opposing players.
So the free kick for the Eagles, bouncing ball into the middle, and Lovington will just send it right back out at the midfield. So throw in from right at the midfield stripe for the Eagles. 5 minutes gone in this one, 0-0 from here at Watson Stadium. Lovington trying to get to 500. Hobbs trying to stay over 500 on the season. Still early. Only one shot on goal, and it came from Lovington. As we move on through, as on the run, it'll be Hobbs trying to find something on the far side. Lovington just going to be forced to boot it away and out. Sorry, dealing with some stuff at the station.
And, of course, that ball went out of bounds behind the field. They're going to go ahead and bring that out. So it'll be a chance for both teams to kind of reset. And a kick back out toward midfield by Lovington, controlled by Lovington, then taken away by Hobbs. Battle for it, Hobbs moving it closer in. And there we go.
There we go. Is on the run. It will be Gomez. Gomez
will
will throw it in, and it is good. And light the lamp. The Hobbs Eagles strike first. Joel Gomez lights the lamp. It's 6 minutes and 30 seconds of the first, and will give the Hobbs Eagles their first lead of the night. They lead this one 1-0.
That all came on really strong offense by Hobbs, taking it past some good passing, and they just passed it right through and right by Lovington, up and then in.
The Hobbs varsity picking up right where the JV left off earlier. They won over Lovington's JV 10-0 in a goal rule game. So now Lovington going to try and collect their breath and get that one back on the board. It'll come back to Contreras, and he'll put it back to Alexander, who's just going to have to knock it away under pressure. Hobbs meets it in the midfield, and they will go on the attack again. Moving around, that'll be Galindo. Trying to find a little space, gets away from a couple of the black-clad Eagles and onto the foot of the Wildcats, but immediately stolen away by Camacho, and then Lovington just going to have to try and get it out of harm's way as they will send it well down the pitch. Bouncing ball. Everybody on the march. De La Cruz will go over and corral it and then send it back out. Hobbs going to try and go on the attack once again. So trying to get it through on the march, running through, and that one going to be kicked away as Lovington just having a little trouble with the side pressure being applied by the Eagle offense.
Yeah, but pretty good defensive coverage on that right down the line until they just saw a chance to make sure that ball went out of bounds.
So it looks like heading over to throw it in will be Nathan Flores. So he'll toss it in from about the 10-yard mark. Hobbs deep in Lovington territory. 8 minutes gone here in the first. Lovington in the lead, 1-0. And just a bouncing ball over as Alexander goes over and grabs it out around 8 yards. Then will direct traffic down the pitch.
And he'll kick it back up toward midfield.
Yes, he will. Bouncing ball. Is that one going to go all the way out and give it back to Hobbs? And they'll throw it in front of their own bench. They'll move it in. Then a collision as Davia and Banuelos collide. Banuelos winds up controlling it. Under pressure now from Davia. Will have to move it back to Contreras. To the midfield. Contreras with it. Loses it. Off of his foot, and then another bouncing ball. It'll be Lovington, and they're going to call offsides on the Eagles once again. Got a little bit happy and just bouncing it through. That's, in hockey, you would call that a chip and chase.
Yeah,
but
that's
like
true.
Hockey, there's a two-line pass. There's kind of the same thing in soccer.
It's true.
So on the offsides, give it back to the Wildcats.
And they'll take that and get a free kick.
Yes, they will. And that'll be Contreras who kicks it away. A high bouncer. Goes through, find its way through, and De La Cruz will come over and he'll control it.
He's just going to hurl it back upfield.
Yes, he will. And off of the head there of Segovia. And another bouncer, and Lovington going to have to just wait for, rather Hobbs going to just have to wait for that one, but they get to it. Good pressure there from Flores, and it'll go out off of the foot of Rios on the far side.
Better to kick it away there out of bounds and let Hobbs, get that back in rather than allow them to continue downfield and maybe set up a shot on goal.
As Banuelos will just put that one out off the shin guards. And it'll stay Hobbs ball. 10 minutes have expired here in the first. So on the Eagle throw-in, Hobbs controls it at the midfield. Lovington putting on a little bit more backfield pressure now as they take it to the sideline, bouncing it into the middle to Camacho. Then a collision over on the far side will go out, and they're going to call a foul on Hobbs. Free kick for Lovington. And they'll throw the bouncing ball down, and a quick one down as De La Cruz is going to come out, and he will collide with Mendoza. And then the ball goes out, and it'll be Lovington ball, I've got to think. Probably a corner kick.
Yep.
Their second of the match. Or they're going to say Lovington touching it last. Yep, so it'll be Hobbs ball.
Okay.
So De La Cruz back in the cage, had a pretty good collision down there with Mendoza, who was on the attack. Lovington got that free kick in very quickly. I don't think Hobbs was ready for that.
No, and that was actually good strategy for Lovington just to go ahead and take that before Hobbs had a chance to set everything up.
So Salas will be the one who sends it back down the pitch into the midfield. Bouncing ball, Lovington controls, and another bouncer goes over the head of everybody. De La Cruz comes out before any attacker can come down to take it over. And then he will send it back away. So into the midfield where Ayala, who just checked in moments ago, will take it. Working the left side, trying to get it into the middle. Hobbs collapses back with their defense. And will take it away now. Bouncing ball into the middle. Slide job by Rodriguez. And then bounces, comes over to the near side to Banuelos. Banuelos bouncing ball to Rios. Loses the ball off of his foot. Back onto the feet of Hobbs momentarily, but Lovington with it back. Collision, a little bit of a tackle. Cats trying to come inside, and a long shot up, and that one going to be just wide by Brandon Banuelos.
Nice shot, though. You take it when you got it like that. He just was a little rushed and didn't have time to set that up, and I think he ended up hitting that and coming off of the outside of his foot just a little bit too much.
So Banuelos with a couple of opportunities here early. As De La Cruz will send that one away. Lovington trailing Hobbs 1-0. Lovington finding a little bit of wind here in this middle portion. Then another bouncing ball out into no man's land and out.
Lovington has tried to be a little more aggressive, and that's great. I think that the problem has been Hobbs has got really good foot skills and blocking, and they've been able to take the ball away or to mitigate what Lovington's trying to be doing a little more aggressively.
Juan Pichardo, who just checked in, he controls, throws it over to Banuelos, who takes it over to the far sideline. Banuelos bouncing ball goes through. Collected by one of the Wildcats, moving through, looking for a little space. That is Mendoza. Now over to the far sideline. And penalty going to be called on Lovington. So give it to the Eagles. And they'll just quickly foot it back into play.
Yeah, taking a page out of Lovington's book there. Keeping that ball moving very quickly and keeping the players on the go. No time to really think and set up.
Camacho got a little fancy and loses the ball. Bouncing ball back as Contreras took that one away, but then it'll come back onto the foot of the Eagles, who will kick it down deep into the Lovington end and out.
So it'll be up near the corner, but it'll be a throw in by Lovington.
And so that'll be Contreras to throw it in off of the side out. And Banuelos pops it up, and then he'll come through and head it over, and the two 11s collide. That's Almanza. Yeah. And then we'll have a tackle called a foul as Pichardo upends Hernandez.
Yeah, it was a good head block by Hobbs on that header. So, yeah, working both ends, doing pretty well. So Hobbs winning more of the one-on-ones.
Free kick for Segovia into space and goes into a sea of blue and white. But it'll be Camacho who controls it for Hobbs. Finds a little room, moves through, trying to find a seam. Takes it onto the right side. And Lovington takes it away from him. Nice job back there by the defender. That was Gomez. And just trying to take it out of harm's way. The Eagles stay on attack as a cat goes down and stays momentarily. He's back up and he's all right. Contreras bouncing back to the middle of the field. And then it'll be popped up over onto the far side and out. And over to the Wildcats. As Coach Edgar Negretti hollering at his squad, telling them they've got to move around more.
Down under less than 25 minutes to play here in this period.
1-0 in favor of the Eagles, and the throw-in is out. So unforced error for Lovington there. As trotting it back up, that'll be Almanza. He'll let it fly in front of the Lovington bench. Wow, he's going to bring it all the way back to the 25-yard line, and there he'll toss it in. Takes it to Camacho, who puts the brakes on and then sends it into the middle of the field to Davila. Davia bouncing ball onto the far side. Adriel Contreras, who just checked in for Hobbs. Then a bouncer, Contreras, chip and chase. It winds up on the foot of Galindo. Galindo tries to send it in. Contreras will use the foot and get it out of harm's way, at least momentarily. Banuelos battles inside with Segovia.
Good defense by Lovington here.
Yes, it was. So now Hobbs going to try and reset the D, and that one will go out, or rather the O, and it'll be throw in for Hobbs on the far sideline. 1-0, Hobbs in the lead. Scoring at 6.5 minutes into this one in the 7th minute. As the throw-in will come to Davia, and he will send one high over the cage and out. Now Davia takes just the second Hobbs shot of the evening.
True. Second shot on goal. They've come close a lot of times, and Lovington has been able, their defense been able to kick it away.
Lovington's had 3 shots on goal so far. Now they get behind the defense momentarily, going through and kicking over, and a nice save by Alexander as he kicks that one away. Is Joel Gomez going for his second goal of the night. Knocks it away. Alexander with his 3rd save.
Yeah, nice. Got his body behind it completely.
Or rather, second save, I should say.
And blocked it out, and then got up right away and got it out of his box.
But Hobbs will stay on the attack, and a long shot in going to go well wide as that one sailed on Segovia and back to Lovington. On the end out. So Contreras will put it down right next to the O in Hobbs in the south end zone. Send it back down as the two teams retreat to midfield. And bouncing ball into the teeth of the Hobbs D.
Lovington sees a chance.
That does a nice job with it, taking it up the left wing, looking for some room to run, coming back up the middle, and just staying at home is Segovia, knocking it away and forcing the turnover.
Yeah, double coverage on him.
Lovington had a couple of guys down. Not sure why they chose not to pass there, as Contreras will control that one and send it back down Hobbs' way. Wildcats still looking for the first sustained pressure in a couple minutes, and we'll have a foul called on Hobbs. Nope, on.
Nope, they're playing on.
Yep, play on. So into the middle of the field, nobody home except for an eagle. That was Davia. They'll bounce it down as Alexander comes out of the cage, and he'll just have to pop it over onto the far right side. Doesn't get it out, though. It's Davia with the header back down to Gomez. Gomez battling on the far sideline with Gomez. Gomez and Gomez. And it'll be out, and throw in for Hobbs, yep. 20 minutes gone, 19 minutes gone in the first. 1-0, Hobbs in the lead. Nathan Flores looks like he'll trigger the throw in. Bill looks and bounces it. Gets it to Gomez, who pops it up and out and through the end zone.
So Lovington will get a chance to kick it out toward midfield from their end zone.
And it'll be Contreras once again. And Contreras, a low line drive towards the midfield. Trying to find some attackers. Hobbs' defenders close in on it. Now Lovington going to send an extra man up. That is Contreras, and he'll bounce it into the middle. Or pardon me, that's Zuniga. Number 2, not number 3. A little hard to see from up here sometimes.
Just like the 9 and the 3 for me are hard to say.
And I should know this because Matthew's the one who's got the ponytail. So bouncing ball down, but offsides as Lovington had snuck Mendoza behind everybody, but he was offsides to do it. And so Hobbs gets a little bit of a break. That's happened to Hobbs a couple of times on offense. First time it's happened to Lovington.
Tells you, though, how anxious both of these teams are to penetrate, to send somebody down quickly and to penetrate and get, a much more open look at the goal.
1-0 at the halfway point of the first half. Hobbs in the lead. Working on the Lovington side of midfield. The Cats moving and playing much tighter defense the last about 10-12 minutes than they did at the very beginning. And out, so throw in for the Eagles. Great to have you with us tonight, wherever you are around Southeast New Mexico, West Texas, and the world. Lovington Sports YouTube, Hobbs Sports YouTube, and HobbsAmerica.com. So the Eagles taking their time. Finally, they'll toss it in. It'll come to Camacho. Almost loses it. Good defense by the Cats. So Camacho back to Rios, back to Camacho. And then Govia, who loses it, and then it'll be bouncing ball down where De La Cruz will just have to send it back out. Almost a brilliant stop there by Gomez. Then he'll bounce it through. Hobbs trying to get some pressure on. Nice job by Ricardo Ayala.
Yeah, beautiful defensive move there.
And
then
to
Hobbs
the far
comes right
side,
back.
and then a slide job out. And it'll be Hobbs throw in deep in Lovington territory. Under 18 minutes remaining here in the first half. 1-0 Eagles in the lead.
After tonight for both these squads?
I would have to look.
Okay. Sorry. I know I didn't, and
I did, but I did not
I can't
write it
remember.
down. At least not on my cheat sheets right here, and that one's just going to be a header away. Up next for after tonight, it'll be, let's see, tonight's Thursday, so Saturday, the Wildcats of Lovington will take on the Wildcats of Clovis for the third time.
Wow.
That'll be Saturday afternoon.
In Lovington?
No, in Clovis.
In Clovis, okay.
And then Hobbs will be back here next Tuesday against Chaparral.
Okay, those El Paso and Southern New Mexico teams from the Las Cruces, El Paso area are always tough.
Yes, they are.
Got really great soccer traditions down there, and they get a lot of players who have been brought up, if not, with families, playing in Mexico, at least watching very closely.
And finding a way through, and almost a shot there, Mendoza, but Hobbs comes through on defense and manages to take it away from him. Mendoza waiting maybe half a heartbeat too long to try and throw it on goal. But good defense, getting back. And it'll be a steal for the Eagles. That's Gomez, who then gets it taken right back from him by Contreras. Now Lovington will work the wing. That is Pichardo trying to move it forward to Mendoza, but kicked away at the last second by Almanza. But it'll stay Lovington ball deep in Hobbs territory, trying to put pressure on. 16 minutes remaining in the first, plus stoppage, of course. And on the throw-in, that'll be Pichardo, who gets it right back and then gets taken off of the ball, and then it'll go out off of an Eagle. So Pichardo will throw it in once again. Again, Lovington trying to get some sustained pressure on, trailing Hobbs 1-0.
And both of these teams' defenses, doing pretty good job of cutting off the other's offense and not letting them get, really long, sustained drives, for shots on goal.
So Pichardo prepares to throw it in from about the 10-yard mark. Nope, now they're going to bring Contreras up to do so. So Contreras will throw it in as Lovington sets up. 5 forwards in the box. Tossing it in off of the header. Going up high, trying to get it over and in was Rios. And he will bounce it out.
Good
Under
effort.
pressure, and so back over to the Eagles of Hobbs.
Lovington with a couple of good looks from the side. Once they've had a couple of side kicks, and they've had just a little. Their aim's been a little bit off. Once with the foot, once with the head, but still, good presence and good tries there.
So Hobbs just gonna send it softly into the backfield and start their run up.
Yeah, trying to sneak
Nifty
up the
little
side.
move there for Segovia. Tries to sweep it forward to the Hobbs Contreras. but it is met by one of the Wildcats. That was Abraham Rodriguez, who sends it out into the Hobbs bench.
So it'll be a throw in midfield by Hobbs.
So Segovia will bounce it in to Camacho, who gets taken off the ball, and then it'll go out. Last touch by Camacho. Good defense there for Josue Gomez.
So now again, we're at mid-pitch.
And with 13:30 remaining, plus extra time, Lovington throws it in, and that one finds its way through everybody, but it's going to wind up going all the way out the back, and so it'll be Hobbs' ball.
Lovington would love to go ahead and get that goal back and get this thing tied up before they head into the halftime.
Yes, they would. So it'll be De La Cruz to kick it away.
Well, Lovington would like to score not one but two goals and actually go up one goal by halftime if they could, but they'd like to, at the very least, get things even back up.
And a collision, and it'll be a foul on Hobbs, and it'll be a free kick for Lovington from 35 yards out.
Of course, Hobbs would like nothing better than to score their own goal and to go two up and have a cushion at halftime.
So now a chance for a set play on the far sideline.
This is going to be the closest in, and for Lovington.
And then it'll come over, and that one is going to go just wide, as over the head of Contreras.
Yep, other than the corner kick, that was
Medlin,
the best shot for it.
Who sent it through. And so dodging a bullet are the Hobbs Eagles. 12 minutes remaining plus stoppage here in the first. After their goal, Hobbs is just kind of sat back on their heels. They have not put a lot of.
They have been content to play more defensively than really drive forward, and except
bouncing
for some
ball
spurts
to
like
Davia,
this,
and he will feed it forward, trying to get it through, working on it, finding it, trying to make it through. Contreras gets over, and they'll find Gomez. Gomez throws it in, and Alexander will stop it, and then coming back through. That is moving through on the rebound. A good stop by Alexander. And then Gomez gets his own rebound, and he will plate it again, this time at the 28-minute and 30-second mark for his second goal of the first. Now, Alexander stopped the first one, but then the rebound came through, and 2-0 now in favor of the Eagles.
And that's where your defense has got to be a little more reactive, a little more responsive when you see that, because you know anytime there's a shot on goal, if the goalie saves it, there's a very good chance you're going to have a rebound one direction or the other. If not the same kicker, another attacker for Hobbs.
And they had Flores also down in the neighborhood. Is bouncing down onto the far sideline. Lovington and Hobbs battling. Lovington trailing 2-0, trying to find a little room, and we'll have a whistle. And was it out before the battle, or did we have a foul? I didn't see the flag, so
I didn't either.
They're putting it down for a free kick, though, so must have been a foul on Lovington.
Yeah, there's the flag finally over there. Excuse me. I think there's somebody on the working the camera over there, and the camera and the ref are right together and didn't see the flag come out.
So off of the free kick, back to Hobbs. Is bouncing into space where Lovington will find it. Gomez will come back through, though. Already 2 goals in the first half. So now it'll be Mendoza. Mendoza losing it, but off the foot of one of the Eagles. That'll be Matthew Mercado checking in. So on the throw-in for the Wildcats, that was Rodriguez. Gets it far deep right corner. Alejandro Mendoza too far out of the reach.
Yeah, pretty good defensive coverage by Hobbs right there. So he just really had to take – he had one shot at it, and he was about to be out of bounds. So he went ahead and took what he could, but he knew he didn't have the best angle on that. But you take what you get. You never know. Things happen. Things bounce funny. Other players come into the picture sometimes, so you take what you get.
9 minutes, 45 seconds plus stoppage time remaining here in the first. Hobbs leading Lovington 2-0. Battle of Lee County, pre-district matchup here.
Ooh.
And a pretty good collision. And
Yeah,
if the Wildcat could have stayed on his feet there, he would have had a shot at moving in. And they are going to call a tackling violation on Hobbs. So it should be Lovington throw-in, if not free kick.
Yeah, I saw it more as a trip. Of course, that's the same penalty. It's just he really stuck that foot out there and his body and interfered with the play.
Question is it going to be a free kick or a throw-in? I think, they're going to call free kick. So.
All right, then.
So another chance for a set play for the Wildcats. Going to try and get one of these two scores back. And at the 20-yard line, which is the 30-yard mark in soccer.
Just under 9 minutes left to play in this first period. It is 2-0 Hobbs, so Lovington really needing to get at least one back before half. They want to get in the hole.
And on the kick in, and that one is going to go wide off the foot of Gomez and out. So another opportunity for the Wildcats by the wayside.
Well, I said get in the hole. They're in a 2-0 hole. They need to get out of that 0-2 hole on their end of things. Lovington Hobbs would like nothing better than to just keep this up and take their 2-0 if they can't increase it. I don't know that they're going to work real hard to increase it, but they want to stay up at least 2-0 going into halftime. So battle of teams. See how the next 8+ minutes go.
So Camacho losing the ball off of his foot to Banuelos. Banuelos then battling, and he'll lose it out. So it'll be a throw-in for the Eagles at the midfield stripe. So the throw-in for Hobbs. Then into a little space where Lovington will take over, finding some room, looking, trying to get it up. The bouncing ball on the run up and going to save it before it goes out. Nice job on the far sideline. Now a centering pass that'll be picked off by the Eagles. And Hobbs will try and pull it back the other way with Mercado. Mercado to Gomez. He'll get it through to a breaking Davia. Davia on the racetrack from the right wing. Goes in, stop and start, goes into the middle, and having to come out of the cage is Alexander. He gets his fourth stop on the second shot by Davia.
Saw that, fell on it, and good save. That was a breakaway. As Hobbs saw a chance, there were only 4. It was the backfield only on the run for Lovington, and they saw a chance to get the quick penetration, go deep, and take that shot. But Lovington got there pretty quickly as well. Good work by Alexander. He's coming back the other way. Hobbs with control.
And that will be Mercado on his foot near side. He'll take it back to Almanza. And then they'll work it forward off of a header. Could be bouncing ball, could be trouble. And Ayala just going to have to take that one out through the back corner. And I think it's going to be a corner kick here for the Eagles. Their first opportunity at a set play.
Yeah, they've been on the run the whole time. They have scored their goals by quick, really breakaways and having fairly open looks.
And so that will be Josh Davia on the corner kick. Nope, they're going to move Mercado, Matthew Mercado, the junior midfielder, over to do the kick. And they will line up in front of the cage, in front of Alexander, with 5:45 plus stoppage remaining here in the first half. 2-0, Hobbs in the lead. So Mercado will put it down, and he will bounce it into the middle, kind of a little softer there, and then it'll be headed out by Lovington, but right onto the feet of Gomez, and he feeds it through, and a bouncing ball off a deflection. Light the lamp, Joel Gomez with the hat trick in the first half.
Wow. Really didn't see that.
And actually, we're going to give that one to Giovanni Maciel because he's the one that deflected it coming in. So Maciel will score that one at the 24:41 mark of the first.
Yeah, shows you the danger of, it's not always the open shot that's the dangerous one. It's the rebound, it's the deflection, it's the players around whoever's taking the shot.
As Gomez, they collapsed in on him, and they did a nice job, and it came off of the shin guards of one of the Wildcats and then right off of the toe of Maciel. and into the back of the net for the 3-0 Lovington, or rather Hobbs lead.
And sometimes, you get lucky with that. You just keep your players close and you get lucky. And sometimes it's hats off to a very heads-up player who's watching the ball, keeping their eye on not where it is, but where it is going to be or where it could be.
4:50 plus stoppage time, 3-0 in favor of the Eagles. 2 goals by Joel Gomez. An assist for Gomez, too. The other goal by Giovanni Maciel, the junior midfielder. Off of the deflection. Bouncing ball to the far side where it'll be picked up by Pichardo. Tries to move it through. He'll find a little room with Mendoza. Mendoza bouncing ball, and that one will be stopped by De La Cruz. Mendoza's first shot, third stop by De La Cruz. And back for the Eagles.
And it's it's also a good lesson when you're on defense. Thinking, if I were on offense, where would I be looking? How would I be looking to move the ball?
Hobbs trying to move it back into the attack mode as they will send a squibber down, and it'll outrun everybody and out. Give it back to Lovington. Under 4 plus stoppage remaining, first half of play.
And when you're keeping that in mind, then you think, okay, so where do I need to be looking? Maybe not what's happening now, but in 2 seconds from now, 5 seconds from now, what is the offense thinking? Where is that ball going to go? And that's where I want to be, or I want to stop at that ball before they have a chance to get it there.
Into the middle of the field off of a Wildcat foot. Hobbs will take it back. Onto the far sideline. Lovington down 3-0. Hobbs looking for a way to maybe pick up another one here before halftime. 3:19 to go before we take the break. Hobbs off of the foot of Gomez, who's had a role in all 3 of the net finders. And almost turnover. Hobbs keeps the defense back, though. We click under 3 to play first half. At this point, Hobbs may be content to just play keep away for a little while.
Yeah, they're up
3-0.
Yep.
Mercado on the near sideline. Move it back up. Bouncing ball up by Galindo. It'll be a bouncer into the middle. That one's going to find its way through, and Alexander has to come over and swat it away from Flores and out of harm's way. Back on to the foot of the Eagles with 2.5 remaining here in the first half. So it'll be a throw-in for Hobbs. Deep inside Lovington territory once again.
There's a Lovington player down. Looks like a cramp, maybe the way that they're working his leg.
Actually, that is one of the Hobbs players. They will stop it for the cramp.
Did I say Lovington? Sorry.
I believe you did.
Okay, I'm looking past the Lovington player. I was thinking Hobbs because I saw him go down. So I was looking and thinking one thing, saying the other.
That's Nathaniel Flores who's down, and
just a cramp it looked like. Now he's still down, so one of the team officials come over and take a look at him, listen to him, see what's happening.
Important to stay hydrated.
Sure. And looks like they're going to work on that.
Stretch him out
stretch him
down there.
back out. Just got a cramp, got a muscle cramp.
So they'll say play on.
Since he's well off the field of play, outside, out of bounds.
Into the middle of the pitch with Camacho. Bouncer in, and that one will be stopped by Alexander, his 5th stop. As we hit the 2-minute mark, remaining in regulation, first half of play.
Hobbs has just had so many shots on goal.
7 shots on goal to just 3 for Lovington in the first half. That one will be out, and Lovington will take it deep inside Hobbs territory. A chance here. Mendoza bouncing it in, but it'll be intercepted by the Eagle defense and then out off the heels of Segovia. Another chance for a Lovington throw-in. 90 seconds to go. Regulation here in the first half.
Lovington would like nothing better than to maybe catch Hobbs a little relaxed and sleeping just a little bit and try to get at least one of those goals back before getting into half.
So Banuelos looks to toss it in. He will, and Segovia will just kind of put it back out towards the 30-yard mark. It's 20 yards on the screen, and then a nice shot coming through as that one, Banuelos sends one on goal, and a heads-up play by Azael De La Cruz. Banuelos, his third shot on goal. He's got 3 of the 4 for the Wildcats.
Thought that left foot, that was allowed. He really cracked that one.
Yes, he did. About 30 seconds left to go plus stoppage time here in the first.
If it had been about 2 or 3 feet either left or right, that might have found the back of the net.
Segovia going to have to go back and grab that one before it squirts out. Under pressure in the deep left corner. That one going to come through, and whistle sounds. Is that it for the half? It should be, I think, maybe. Well, nope, they're going to call. We're in extra time now in the first half. So it'll be a penalty on Hobbs, free kick, or penalty on Lovington, free kick for Hobbs. We'll probably let them send it in and play about 10 seconds, and then I guess as they will blow the whistle. So that one is going to bounce and moving through, letting them play on. Segovia battles with Mendoza. Now into the middle of the pitch, Hobbs, and yep, they will call the whistle, and that will be the first half. So a half is gone here at Watson Stadium. Battle of Lee County, the Eagles leading the Wildcats 3-0. Lovington in that first half giving up goals to Joel Gomez at the 6:30 mark, the 28:30 mark, and then Giovanni Maciel at the 24:41 mark. Alexander faced a lot of shots, 8 shots for Hobbs in that first half. De La Cruz only facing 4 shots in the first half, and 3 of them coming from Banuelos. So it is halftime here at Watson Stadium. We'll be back for the second half. Hobbs Eagles, Lovington Wildcats soccer right here on Lovington Sports YouTube, Hobbs Sports YouTube, and HobbsAmerica.com. And welcome back to Hobbs Lovington Soccer on the Lovington Sports YouTube, Hobbs Sports YouTube, and HobbsAmerica.com. With Don Morgan, I'm TJ Miracle, Evie Stuber, keeping an eye and an ear on things back at One Radio Square. Hope you are having a great evening tonight. The Eagles leading the Wildcats in the Battle of Lee County on the soccer pitch, 3-0. So getting ready to get back underway here in this second half of action. Hope you are having a fantastic evening. So it should be Lovington ball as we start things off here in this second half. Hobbs cruising off of 2 goals by Joel Gomez. He assisted on the third goal, which was netted by Giovanni Maciel. So Lovington with some work to do as we get underway. So here we go as we start this second half of action. Lovington will put it deep into their own zone. And then all the way back to Alexander, who kicks it out but has it blocked, and then that one will bounce away, and Lovington will control it right before it goes out. So it should be, kick for Lovington, so Lovington ball as we are back underway, 3-0 in favor of the Eagles. So that'll be Contreras, who puts it on the A in Eagles and boots it away. The teams flip ends of the field. Now Hobbs will attack the north end zone, Lovington the south. And then we'll have a quick whistle. So free kick for the Wildcats, trying to pull out of a 3-0 lead. And so Contreras will just send it softly over to Zuniga. Hobbs putting on a little back pressure. Back check, if you will, bouncing over to the near side. Coming out with it, that is going to be Herrera. But losing it. And so over to Gomez. Gomez bouncing it in, trying to find a little room with his running mate there, Gallegos. Trying to find some room, get a good shot. Hobbs, though, comes through and then bounces it off. And coming through and making a nice job, that'll be Gallegos who gets the save as Hobbs putting some intense pressure on right there. But as Gallegos says, Alexander got tied up in a scrum outside of the net. And so it took his defenseman, Gallegos, the sophomore, heads-up play for that sophomore, Dawn.
Yep, and it was, good job. Nice job. Good attack by Hobbs, but nice defense by Lovington. And again, Alexander right in that pocket where he needs to be, but he's got some help.
So now it's going to be Davia on the corner kick for the Eagles, a chance to expand on their 3-0 lead into the middle, and that one bouncing over the head of everybody. And Lovington trying to get it out of harm's way. Lovington started with the ball but put it back, and then Hobbs squeezing in on the defense. Davia near side under pressure, going to lose that one off of his foot. Good back pressure put on by Rios, a back check, if you will. And so give it over to Lovington, who have yet to have it in the Hobbs side of the field through the first 3 minutes of this second half.
So Lovington's got a big hole to dig out from, so you look for them to be a little more aggressive. They need to be.
You would think so. On the bouncing ball. Working it up and through. That's going to be Cordova for Hobbs, who sends it back. Working it to Flores. Flores, bouncing ball over onto the far side to Segovia. Segovia back to the middle with Davia, who squeaks one through to Gomez. Gomez, then a little no-look pass, entering pass. Gomez gets it back. Puts it through under pressure and is going to have to send it back where Davia will reset. He'll one in, but off of the shin guards. One of the Wildcats. Now Lovington can come back. That is Mendoza. Mendoza tries the bouncing ball through the middle, and that one will be picked off by the Hobbs defense. Settling it down is Almanza. Dribbles up under a little pressure, then gets it taken away by Mendoza. Mendoza the bouncing ball. And they'll just have to send it back to De La Cruz, the keeper, who then moves it through, and then a nice steal by the Wildcats.
Definitely seeing more pressure here.
But Davia will take it away and start it back towards midfield. Settling it down, bouncing ball onto the far side. Hobbs on the attack once again, trying to find a little room in the middle. Lovington, good defense there, keeping Hobbs from having an unfettered look at the net. And out of bounds, far side. 5 minutes gone here in the third, or rather in the second half. We don't need three halves. I don't think there is such a thing. It's been a long week. Football tomorrow may be very interesting.
And we may have 4 halves in football. You never know.
I hope not. It felt like we played that last week with the rain delay for Lovington.
Long Friday night, and then Saturday afternoon. That 3/4 of a game took as much time as a full game would have.
In a game that took officially 21 and a half hours to play by the time we were done.
Yeah. And Hobbs. Lovington just knocking that out, trying to thwart more offensive pressure by Hobbs here.
So on the throw-in, CL. Back up and back out there as Lovington will steal it away. Moving through, looking for some room is Banuelos. Banuelos with 3 shots in that first half.
Nice pass.
Yes,
good
it
pass
was.
upfield.
Good pass up to Mendoza. Mendoza taking it up the right wing under a little bit of pressure, trying to get it into the middle. Dribbles, looking for some space, puts one across the cage, back to the middle, and put it in the net. Light the Lamp is coming over and making the goal. At the 5.5-minute mark is Brandon Banuelos on his 4th shot.
That was all
Puts
set up.
Lovington on the board.
Yeah, that's set up by that beautiful upfield pass that went diagonally, and the other player just the right amount, got out there, and that gave Lovington a chance to really set that up and have a great look on goal, more than one, actually.
So Lovington draws first blood here in the second half. Now 3-1 our score. The Eagles still in the lead, but Lovington
they had
finding
options.
the pressure. Yep.
That's what's nice is you get enough. You've got options, and so your goalie doesn't know exactly where that shot's going to come from.
Now the Wildcats will steal it away. Coming through is Banuelos. He'll move it through to Nava. Nava takes it in on the far side, and De La Cruz knocks it away.
Yeah, I think it hit the post before he got.
No, it didn't. He got the hand on it.
Yeah, it looked to me like it may have hit the post, but
Nava, his first shot was a good one.
Yeah,
but a
nice
good
work.
stop back in the Hobbs cage by De La Cruz.
Yeah, good work.
So now it'll be a corner kick for Lovington. So they've got another opportunity here trying to cut it down to just a 1-goal lead. As Banuelos will send it towards the middle. It is a high one, bounced off of the head and then bounced back out to about the 20-yard mark where Banuelos picks it back up. He battles underneath and over there with Cordova and then out, throw in for Lovington. 33 minutes and change remaining in regulation.
And Lovington keeping it close. Good job for them to score. Hobbs has got the two-goal cushion, but they can't, there's too much soccer to play. They can't afford to just relax.
And that one will go out, and it should be a corner kick for the Wildcats. Banuelos going to put that one down for Contreras. So Lovington going to put its most potent offensive, that was Nava, 19, not 11. So Nava puts it down. And it'll actually be a throw-in for Contreras, and he throws it towards net. Off of one of the Wildcat heads, off of another Wildcat head,
close.
And De La Cruz comes over and makes the save off of the head there of Rios. And so now back the other way. Hobbs going to try and go on the attack. Lovington slows it up and races back down.
They're able to get it out of bounds.
And get the ball back, too.
That's right.
So Lovington feeling it a little bit here in the early goings of this second half. 3-1, though. Hobbs in the lead on 3 first-half goals. Now Hobbs trying to attack again. Is that one going to be popped out by Mendoza? Stays Hobbs' ball on the far sideline. 31 minutes and change remaining here in regulation. So on just a little slow and short throw in to Segovia. Loses it. So it'll be another throw in for the Eagles, far side. Throwing it into space. That's Camacho. There's a couple shots in the match. And he'll leave it into the middle for Galindo. Galindo, a long shot on goal. And Alexander leaps up and gets a hand on it for his 7th save. But a long shot by Galindo, about a 40-yard boot there.
Yeah, nice velocity off the foot on that. It was just a little high.
And Alexander gets the save on that. I think it would have still gone high, but he touched it as he leaped over the crossbar.
Yeah. And I tell you, with
better safe than sorry.
Yeah, against an aggressive team like Hobbs, Alexander knows he's going to face an awful lot of shots on goal, and he stopped a lot of them.
Yes, he has. 7 stops by my count, and that one is going to squeak its way through. That's Contreras giving chase. He'll turn around and he'll fire it through and wide right.
Yep, just a little high and wide, but he was running out of room. He was at the point where he had to take this. He had to take that. The timing was going to be off. He had to take it then, or lose his shot completely. So
10 minutes gone here in the second half. 3-1. Hobbs in the lead, but Lovington has drawn first blood in the half.
No, sorry.
So
you
it'll
already made it.
The Hobbs ball coming onto the near side. That'll be Zayden Caballero seeing his first action of the evening. Caballero into space with Galindo, and then Lovington takes it away back to Caballero. Caballero, he battles back there with Gallegos.
He won the one-on-one there.
Yes, he did, and so through to Salas. Contreras comes through and will just bang it away and through. De La Cruz going to have to come out, and he collides with one of the Wildcat players. The Cat player is down, and they will have an injury timeout as a huge collision there between De La Cruz.
Head. That's the problem was I think they were colliding, and I think the contact to the Lovington players was to the head is what it looked like to me. But, of course, we've moved the camera away from that injury.
Yeah, the Wildcat actually looks maybe he caught a cramp there.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean, if you hit, knees and legs and they get tangled up, you hit the right spot, that could definitely feel not good. And it looks like he's not feeling good, although he's up now, and that's a good thing for the Wildcats. That was Mendoza, who's back up. And he looks like he's all right. They're going to take a little hydration out for him, looks like, maybe.
Has not only the water, but putting some of the electrolytes and minerals back in the body that it needs, the salt back in the body. It's despite
can't really hear you there, but
despite the cloud cover, it's took my headphones off to
it's a little bit
wipe some
humid.
sweat.
Yeah,
it's humid up here anyway. We've had benefit of some cloud cover, but still hot.
So after the injury timeout, I believe it will be Hobbs' ball. It will be. So Hobbs will have the free kick deep inside their own territory. 28:47 remaining in regulation. A 2-goal lead for the Eagles over the Wildcats. Battle of Lee County. And into the middle of the pitch. Hobbs going to start bringing it back up through the midfield. Lovington picking up there on the defense. And now the Cat's going to send it through, but Hobbs intercepting it on a long stretch pass. Hobbs getting some of their younger players in this half. And slide it over to the far sideline, working over onto the left wing. Moving through, looking for space, finding it. Now back into the deep left corner. Hobbs going to try and calm it down and slide it down there. Lovington puts on tight, tough defense. And trying to get it back out into space, Lovington will clear it out. Onto the foot of one of the Eagles, though. And then bouncing through where it's Contreras who'll just bounce it back into the midfield. And a nice job by Hobbs, or rather by Lovington. Got back. That was number 7, Mendoza. He's up and moving okay. Just had to wait a half a heartbeat or so on that one and a little bit too long. Let Hobbs' defense come back and get to it. 27-20 to go, regulation. Hobbs on the throw in front of the Lovington bench. We'll toss that one in. As Caballero working near side. And Hernandez winds up, and then it'll roll out and be Lovington ball on the throw in.
They tried to work that in real quickly, but Hobbs sniffed it out.
Yes, they did. Now a bouncing ball. Lovington going to pick it up near sideline and send it back out in the midfield. Onto the foot of Davia. Davia to Camacho. Camacho tries a little spin move, can't find any room, and then the ball will come out near side in front of the Hobbs bench. So Eagle ball. Trying to put a little more pressure on here. Is checking in for Hobbs will be Adriel Contreras. Contreras will come in for Maciel, who will take a breather. Camacho gets it right back off the throw-in, and then a nice job on a slide and touch out. Stays Hobbs ball, this time to the right of the Lovington bench. Great to have you with us this evening. Hobbs Sports YouTube, Lovington Sports YouTube, HobbsAmerica.com. Bouncing ball into the deep left corner. Lovington, or rather Hobbs, trying to settle it down. Moving through, then a centering pass. And the Cats just going to have to send it out. It'll be a corner kick for the Eagles. Chance for a set play deep in the Lovington end.
About 25 minutes left to play here in this second half. Hobbs leading 3-1.
It'll be Davia. He will go over and get a soccer ball as that one went bouncing somewhere back behind Tasker Arena.
Mm-hmm.
We may not get that one back till basketball season.
These days, there's many vehicles and everything all over there.
So Davia, he will send it in, and on the winder, and an overhead kick, and it'll be saved by Alexander, as going over with the Pele-style bicycle kick was Galindo.
Really nice work. Both sides, offense and defense.
Yes, it was. Good job by Alexander to stop that one. His eighth stop of the night. I saw Galindo go top over tea kettle and thought, whoa, well, hello.
Hello, Pele.
And Alexander just kind of like, yep, seen it before. Got the hands up and knocked it away. Good save. So waiting on a throw-in near side. Nope, actually a free kick for Contreras, and he will send it down. Bouncing ball goes over and through everybody and into the hands of De La Cruz. Off of the free kick, and then he'll send it back into play in the midfield. Contreras heads it back onto the Lovington attack side. Pretty good battle going on the midfield between Galindo and Banuelos. Galindo wins that version of it. And now it'll be a steal coming in. That is going to be a nice job there by Mendoza. Takes it in and then not able to control it well enough. Looks for some room. Goes in on De La Cruz. Centers it up, and then it'll be kicked away. And a save by the Wildcats. Or rather by the Eagles. Then through Mendoza, still putting on the pressure.
Not out of the woods yet.
No, they're not.
Lovington still trying, still attacking.
And finally going to bounce away, and Camacho winds up with it and runs it out of harm's way. But the Eagles playing with fire. Cats trying to get it back to within one. Now the Eagles trying to stretch it back out. Contreras just going to send that one into the Hobbs bench.
Yeah, nice attack by Lovington, and they kept up their pressure and just as good defense there as everybody was. It was a scramble, mad scramble to watch and see. Well, the ball was popping up, shooting out. It's exciting.
Yeah, I got to remember not to look down at my sheets when all that's going on.
That's right.
And Galindo, he'll send a long one in, and Alexander slides out and knocks it down. And pardon me, that was Gomez. That'll be his fourth shot. He's cashed in on two, was trying to get his hat trick, and now Alexander's down.
A little slow to get up, so I think he kind of fell funny. He may have fallen a little bit on that knee, or he may have maybe a cramp. It's hard to say, and we don't want to say from here, so we'll move the camera away.
10th save for Hayden Alexander.
He's paying the price for that. And
he's been busy in the cage.
he has been.
22 and a half minutes remaining in regulation. 3-2 in favor of the Eagles. Gomez netting 2. Maciel netting the other.
Good to see him. Yep, he's up.
And Banuelos netting the...
Probably not feeling good, but at
Probably
least he's
not.
moving. Yeah.
And Banuelos netting the lone goal for Lovington.
We talk about this when we watch soccer on TV, and I watch it probably more than you. And
There's no doubt.
And I've watched soccer really back in the day. The only place you could really see soccer on TV, except for World Cup finals, was in the Olympics. So watched a lot. But you see the soccer flop, what we call the soccer flop. These guys spend so many minutes on their feet, running, that if they get knocked down or end up being on the ground, I think they make the most
Corner
of it.
kick for Galindo, as that one will be booted away and swatted out. But it'll be another opportunity for a set play for Hobbs.
And that's not to take anything away from true injury. I mean, it feels bad, at first, and you got the cramp, and you need to make sure that you're not hurt or injured more than you think you are. But it always feels good to spend a minute or so on the ground if you can.
And that one will go into the middle of the game, and then off of the header and out of the back of the end zone.
Oh, close. And a nice attack there.
And I do remember watching Wide World of Sports and them having
some soccer on Saturdays.
Some of the old,
occasionally,
especially if Pele was playing for New York.
Absolutely. Yeah. Of course, watched him.
Look it up, kids.
Before he even got to.
He was Lionel
play
Messi.
for
He
the
was
US.
Lionel Messi and all those guys before these guys were ever around. And
very old school.
We'll have a foul called as a collision and a Lovington player winds up on the ground. But, they're going to say nope, they're going to say foul on Lovington. So free kick for Hobbs. Clicking towards the halfway mark of the second half. 3-1 in favor of the Eagles over the Wildcats. The Cats have had some opportunities here in the second half, and they've cashed one of them in. Much more pressure in the second half. But now Hobbs going to try and put some more pressure on. But Lovington's defense does a nice job momentarily getting back to it. Now looking for some room. Contreras with Gomez on the far side. That one will go out of the end zone and should be a kick for Lovington. Nope, it'll just be a free kick for Hobbs.
And it's good to see the fact, for a long time, Hobbs had a very active little youth soccer league. And for many, many years, there was no place to go with that. It was youth soccer. It stopped, I think, by the time that the kids, I think, were in the 6th grade, didn't go any further. And then, after a long time of that, then they finally added soccer in as a program at the high school level. And now there's development of talent and some place for those kids to go with their soccer skills when they're really young.
And can continue to develop them.
Exactly. If they've got a future,
And there's been a lot of kids from both Hobbs and Lovington who've gone on to play at the collegiate level.
Yeah, you bet.
So it'll be Lovington ball on the throw-in. 3-1 in favor of Hobbs over Lovington.
Hobbs was not unusual in that. That was the case for a lot of communities across the country.
Yes, it was. And
youth soccer, but then it stopped, and there were not a lot of high school programs for it to go to.
I know in Big Spring they just added their high school program last year.
Wow.
Town where I grew up over in Texas. I played 1 year when I was, like 6. That was enough. Too much running. Gomez feeds it through. Camacho on the run, goes through and knocks it in, and Alexander will knock it away, his 11th save.
Wow. Yep.
Camacho's 3rd shot on goal, and Alexander knocks it away.
Camacho did a nice job of breaking away, getting free, and getting that open look at the goal.
So now Hobbs going to reset with Gomez. As Gomez loses it into space, and Lovington just going to have to clear it out to the midfield.
Now we're down to 19 minutes left in regulation, not including stoppage or any kind of overtime. And it is 3-1. Lovington's really tick-tock now. They've got to really get serious about shaving down that deficit.
So Gomez will take it off the throw-in to Davia as he battles out there against Mendoza. And then a long, slow bouncer. Alexander with no trouble handling that. Sends it back out to the midfield. Or Banuelos. Or pardon me, that was Mendoza. Loses it. It'll go back to Hobbs. Of course, 3-1 our score. Hobbs with all their tallies in the first half. Lovington with their lone tally here in the second. And now Hobbs trying to turn the pressure back up. Gomez with it. Finds a little space, but then Lovington will swat that one away with Zuniga. And into the Hobbs bench. As Caballero will throw it in.
As we mentioned earlier, Hobbs JV down playing at Jowl tonight.
On the American football pitch,
That's
not
right.
the football pitch.
Yeah.
That's on the Jowl Sports YouTube channel.
And then Hobbs football tomorrow night.
Yep, homecoming against Roswell High.
So it's kind of the warm-up for this stadium tonight.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be a lot more full tomorrow night, full and active and noisy.
Lovington will be at home tomorrow night on as well, taking on the Carlsbad Cavemen. Something tells me we probably won't have 100 combined points and over 1,000 yards of offense this year on that one.
Right.
Of course, the Hobbs game tomorrow here on Hobbs Sports YouTube, Lovington Sports for the Lovington game. We're on both of those tonight as the teams are playing one another. HobbsAmerica.com too. And a bouncing ball down, and that one will be chested up by Camacho, looking for some room, taken away on the far sideline. Nice job by Gomez getting back to him to save that one out and then trigger it back the other way. Hobbs will take it away in the midfield, coming near side to Caballero. Caballero bouncing ball, and that one will be away and out of a flashing eagle.
Of course, Hobbs knows full well that Lovington needs to have control of the football to take shots on goal. So they're doing their best to keep all of the action down in this end of the field to keep them from breaking away and having any shots on goal. So Lovington trailing by 2 with only 16 minutes basically left to play in regulation.
Hernandez to Gomez to Davia. Davia a long bouncer in and easily stopped by Alexander. Davia's third shot on goal, but easy stop for the senior keeper for the Cats. That one high into the southeast New Mexico night sky.
Nicely played there.
And we'll have a collision at midfield as that is Galindo and one of the Wildcats getting together. And the Wildcat getting the worst of that one. That's Banuelos.
Slow getting up, but he is getting up.
Referee comes over and checks on him. Make sure he's all right.
Now they're asking, do you want him to come out? Nope. He says, nope, he's staying in.
So it'll be free kick for Lovington right at midfield. Going to bring Contreras, the senior defender, up. As he'll just send it back to Alexander, who then sends it forward. As Lovington going to control it on the far sideline, trying to take it up the right wing. And the ball will roll out and stays Lovington ball for the throw-in.
Hobbs with 3 guys over there running defense, trying to keep Lovington from getting a shot on goal.
Into the middle, and that one will be a shot up. And if this was American football, it would be a three-pointer, but because it went through the uprights, but not the way it works in soccer.
Still, you take the shot that you've got.
I don't know if we're going to play on American-style football fields. I think they're, I don't know, what is it, an Australian rules football? If you kick it through, you get like 2 points or something. It's like 2 points in Canadian football. Why can't we have that in soccer for the high school level?
Well, you work on that. Work on lobbying that.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen. You would not have the game that you have if they could just sit there and bang away from 30, 40 yards out and get points.
That's why we got rugby and
rugby and Aussie rules football
Yeah,
and
yeah.
soccer and Canadian rules football and
Sure. All these,
indoor football and 7-on-7 and 8-on-8 and 6-man and
some of these have evolved and developed out of, hey, well, you know what? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? Well, create a different sport for that. Lo and behold, they did. They're going to just pop it out, and it's going to go out of bounds right in front of the Hobbs bench.
and it
Hobbs
looks
will
like
have it.
Salas to pull the trigger on the inbound. Gets back to the Lovington backmen. You just have to send it away, and it'll be another throw-in for Hobbs deep in the Lovington end. 13 and change remaining in regulation. A 3-1 Hobbs lead right now. Into the middle for Camacho. Camacho to Gomez. Gomez throws it over and off the top pipe. Gomez, he is on tonight. And right there, Alexander getting an assist from the crossbar.
Yeah, you'll take it.
He gets a save credit. As Contreras sends it all the way back out to the midfield. And now Lovington going to try and settle it down. I would expect to see Lovington's intensity start picking up probably right about now. We've got about just 12 minutes to go. Out of bounds. Throw in for the Eagles. So now the question will be, how do the Eagles respond to increased pressure from the Wildcats?
I think their response is they're going to play keep away. They're going to play strong offense.
And bouncing ball into the middle. Contreras heads it back into friendly hands. At least friendly, not hands, but heads if you're in the blue and white. So bouncer into the middle. Gomez once again comes through. Little hesitation move, goes through and puts it in, and just wide of the cage. Gomez, he's pointing. He wants a penalty. He's not going to get it. He wants a penalty kick. But
I think it was clean.
Yeah, I think it was too. But a nifty little move he was in traffic and then basically hit the brakes on the ball and himself and let that one come out.
Let everybody fly by, and then
It will be a corner kick now for the Hobbs. 11:30 to go in regulation. Eagles on the set play. Bending that one over, and Gomez off of the heels, and Alexander has his 15th save of the night. 7th shot for Gomez.
And Alexander was right in front of that back net. Didn't have much room to work with. Fell on it. Good job.
Hayden will bounce that one back into the midfield. Onto the foot of Mendoza. Mendoza gets tripped up. No call. He wanted a little bit of interference call. So to Gomez, gets past him, and on the run, not in time, out. Trying to get to that one was Maciel. It'll go back to Lovington. So the Wildcats going to pull the trigger on the inbound. Trailing by 2 here to Hobbs in Hobbs. Banuelos works against Davia. Now Davia steals it away. He'll take it through, and then a good defensive play. A bouncer into the near corner. Lovington blocks it out, and we'll get to that one, but they're going to be a whistle away. And so are we going to have a penalty kick, or is it just going to be a corner kick? I think we're going to have a free kick for Hobbs. Or is it just going to be a throw-in? Yeah, I think we're just going to have a throw-in there. Didn't see the indication. So it'll be a throw-in for Hobbs. That'll be Mercado, who's seen a lot of time in the second half. And it will be a free kick from the near sideline from about the 15-yard mark. Hobbs going to put 8 men in the box. Lovington with all 11 stacked up.
Kind of a dangerous angle here for
Yes, it is.
Lovington,
and that one will be headed away by the Wildcat defenders and out, and then sent out on the near side.
Well, that'll be a throw-in.
That'll be a throw-in. And a quick throw-in and out again. And so Lovington, or rather Hobbs, will throw it in closer in the Lovington end.
About just a little over 9 minutes left to play regulation in this one.
So Salas, he will pull the trigger on the throw-in. Tosses it over to Galindo. Lovington's defense is there to slow it up at least a little bit. Centering pass for the Wildcats, and now they're just going to have to clear it out. Running up is Mendoza, and it'll go out off of an eagle, and Mendoza will throw it in with 8:40 plus stoppage remaining. 3 Wildcats trail the Eagles. 6th game of the season for both teams. Lovington trying to get to 500. Hobbs trying to stay above 500 in the early goings of the season. And that one will be out. And it'll go back to Hobbs for a free kick.
You know, the conditioning is just so important in this.
Like I said, I played 1 year when I was about 6 and realized I didn't want to run that much. So,
yeah, you've got to. I mean, the games themselves will really. You've got to worry about that fitness level and that conditioning.
Caballero squeaks one through. It'll be a foot race over, and Alexander comes out of the cage to take it away before Eric Interanio can come over and get to it. So a few more names coming off the bench for Coach Marquez. Getting some time late in this one. Eagle ball, though, with 7:20 to go and a 2-point lead, 2-goal lead. And feeding it through a slide block for the Wildcats. We're just going to bounce it back out towards midfield. Now they'll steal it away. A chance here for the Wildcats.
Launch some O.
But then stepping in front and intercepting that one back over. And then a long outlet pass goes over everybody and out and over towards the practice indoor facility over there.
Yeah, Lovington just having a lot of trouble trying to get out of defensive mode, launch offense, and make inroads and penetrate Hobbs, and they're doing their best just to.
Of course, Hobbs' defense has had a little to do with that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying, so Hobbs is trying their best to keep Lovington from doing that, and their best is pretty good.
Into a little space, dribbling it down the field is Banuelos. He'll bounce it, trying to come near side to Nava, stolen away by Hobbs and Caballero. But then back to the Wildcats.
Nice
then
pass.
finding a man right in the middle, bouncing it over, trying to settle it down, and then a high bicycle kick over everybody's head and out by Banuelos. He has the lone tally for Lovington. Under 6 plus stoppage time remaining in regulation.
Of course, you got to remember to look left and right and see if you've got a wingman or two that you can pass it to in case your way forward is looking like it's going to be choked off and you're not going to have time to set up a really good shot on goal. Sometimes a pass is better than a kick.
And that one, nobody home. A little miscommunication for the Hobbs defenders. Hobbs is going to be convinced and not convinced, but content, I got to think, to play a little bit of slowdown. As I say that, here they go, and they get one behind the defense, and we've got a push behind. No call, and nope, they will call it. And so we should have a penalty kick from about the 20-yard mark, 10 yards on the football markings.
As the clock has ticked down to a little over 5 minutes left in regulation in this one. Again, Lovington running out of time.
And, yep, we will have a free kick for the Hobbs Eagles as they had a breakaway going. That was the case. I think they're deciding on a yellow card here.
Well,
for a flagrant foul. And it looks like it'll be Camacho to take the free kick. Did they yellow or did they red?
I think it was a yellow card. I think they gave him a yellow card.
So nothing that the young man could do. It was basically give him a run at your goalie or take the penalty. And he chose to take the penalty. Coach Negretti coming over, and he's not happy about it. I hate to say it. It was pretty blatant. And
yeah, he's going to say, well, that he didn't have a choice. He's going to say, well, he was doing his job. But
so we will have a free kick, and sitting down for a little while will be Julian Gallegos. So Camacho to take the kick. 5:02 remaining, plus stoppage time. A little hydration after the explanations going on.
Pretty still tonight. It's been a
Yes,
hot
it
day.
is.
Little cloud cover bringing some humidity in, and then still. So pretty nice evening. If you're down on the field, probably a fairly nice evening, but definitely a hot one for these players.
Yeah, a hot one for the broadcasters up in the.
So
Like I said, they.
if the wind is coming from just the right direction, we get
Jeremy
some flow through.
Soria probably should sell this as a sweat lodge, and that one's in, and it goes
Ooh.
through. Alexander with another stop. He makes two quick stops, one of them on Camacho, and then on the follow-up, it was Davia.
Yeah, and he knows the quicker he can get it downfield, he's got a better chance of Lovington being able to go on offense there. Get
Great
the ball
job.
and-
Alexander with 17 stops tonight
Yep.
on 20 shots faced. And some of those have been high-quality chances for Hobbs. And they've stopped the clock, and the clock is not running. We
Okay.
should be at about 2.5 minutes left in regulation. Bouncing ball down. Let's see who can get to it. Galindo on the run into the corner. Stops it, slows it down, and it'll go out. Lovington rushing back on defense. It'll be Lovington ball as Zuniga checks back in for the Cats. No, I have no idea how much time is left. They still got
Yeah.
5:02 on the clock.
And it definitely shouldn't be that.
No, it should be probably about 2 minutes now. Well, now they got it going. Wake up, Jason.
Is Lovington keeping it in marginally? Now it goes out.
Yep. Now, what I was going to say was Coach Soria might ought to sell this thing during the summer, rent out our press
Sweat.
boxes as sweat lodges.
Yeah. Little day spa.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Little non-traditional revenue for the Hobbs Athletic Department. It gets a little warm, at least in the mornings, at Wildcat Stadium, too.
Definitely. Yeah, because that one
That one
faces
faces the proper
east.
way. Just one of the little quirks of Watson Stadium.
Never understand why they.
Yeah,
built this that
I've
way.
never been sure about that either. I know there was discussion back before COVID about basically flipping the stadium and making what's now the visitor side the home side, and moving and building another press box over there for the media.
Right.
Of course, COVID kind of put a
Kibosh
damper
on a
and
lot of
kibosh
things,
on
yeah.
all kinds of things.
Sure.
This is still the third largest stadium in the state, though.
Right. I think what UNM's first, Portales.
UNM first and New Mexico State second.
ENMU
Yeah.
and Portales, yeah.
No, New Mexico State.
Portales,
Yeah.
Oh, New Mexico State.
Yeah,
okay.
and Las Cruces.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe University Stadium is 1, Aggie Memorial Stadium is 2,
2.
Watson Stadium is 3.
Wow.
We do
okay.
have an injury on the far sideline.
Looks like a Hobbs player down.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll move the camera away.
So, of course, don't forget tomorrow night we will be doing American-style football. It's homecoming here in Hobbs. The Hobbs Eagles taking on the Roswell High Coyotes. Ty friend, Sav Anthony. We'll have that for you. 6:45 pregame show. Hobbs Sports YouTube, Cool 95.7. Dawn Morgan and myself, we will be in Lovington on the blue turf at Wildcat Stadium. The Cats taking on the Cavemen, a battle of the blue and white. 6:45, Lovington Sports YouTube, HobbsAmerica.com, Stonehill Field Services pregame show. That'll be tomorrow night. Also tomorrow night, it's homecoming in Eunice, as Eunice will take on New Mexico Military. Jimmy and the crew will have that for you,
Hobbs player up and okay, apparently.
and that's a good thing to see.
And play is resumed.
3 minutes and change plus stoppage to go, although we should probably be done about now because they let it go about 5.5 minutes without the clock running. I know it wasn't that long. It just kind of seemed that long.
Yeah, it's probably at least a two to three, maybe. Seemed like.
And score update coming in from Panther Stadium in Jowl. The Hobbs JV beating the Panthers right now. The Panther varsity 13-8. That game's in the first quarter, late in the first quarter. Still on the inbound, Hobbs will go back on the attack, leading this one 3-1. Lovington has come to play in the second half, and they've gotten a fantastic game out of their senior keeper, Alexander. And a wide-angle shot coming through, trying to center it up. Hobbs, or rather Lovington, just has to move it away. And then a turnaround shot, and Alexander with another leaping save for his 18th, this time off of... That was off Maciel, his second shot of the game.
It was pretty high, but I know he was thinking he wanted to deflect it to make sure it didn't pop down from hitting a crossbar maybe, and then he get bitten like he did in that first half with a rebound ball.
And they are going to say corner kick for the Eagles, so Davia will take it over to the far side. Another set play. As we click down to the 2-minute mark. And on the sweep in, Lovington just going to have to kick that one back out and away. And another corner kick to be placed by the Eagles.
Nope.
And 2 minutes to go in regulation. And a long turnaround shot by Davia. Another stop by Alexander. Davia's 5th shot of the night. Alexander sends it back down the pitch and out. So barring a caution in stoppage time, Hobbs will improve to 4-2 on the year. Lovington will drop to 2-4. As Gomez, he of 2 goals in the first half, tries to weave through 3 different Wildcat defenders. Doesn't work. 1 minute plus stoppage time to go. Here from Watson Stadium. On to the far side, that is Cordova. Loses the ball. That'll be Mendoza. He battles. Gets it back. Gomez to Camacho. And Contreras will just send it back down. It's picked up by Banuelos. Banuelos looking to take it up the sideline, taken away by a Hobbs Eagle defender. 1 minute to go in regulation.
Yep, I think they're going to say that's it.
Okay, they're going to
That's
go
right.
ahead with the, since
With
we
that
had
clock,
the time,
yeah.
the stop for quite a while.
They're going to recognize at the 2-minute level. They're going to say, yeah, that.
And that will do it. Our final score here this evening, the Hobbs Eagles victorious over Lovington 3-1. Lovington's lone tally coming with 5.5 gone in the second half. So in the 6th minute of the second half, off the foot of Brandon Banuelos. Hayden Alexander tonight, though, stops 19 different shots. Goals for the Hobbs Eagles. Joel Gomez, he netted 2 in the first half, one at the 6.5-minute mark, the other at the 28:30 mark. Giovanni Maciel at 24:41 in the first as well. Aziel De La Cruz with 7 stops. So congratulations. Hobbs Eagles improved to 4-2. Lovington dropping now to 2-4. As we will wrap up our coverage of this one tonight. So some things for the Wildcats to build on, Dawn.
Yeah, definitely. They, played a pretty good match. There are some things they did really well, some things that they'll look at. Of course, it's a never a shame falling, especially to a team that's above classification, and that's why they build so many of those, because you can learn a lot from playing teams that are from bigger classifications than you, but you also get credit for that, even if you take a loss when you keep it close. And this was just a 2-goal difference. When they look at that, if seedings are a little close, and then the best, the best way that you can play, and even if you take the loss, that it can still help you in the long run toward the end of the season and at the end of the season. So Lovington, no shame. Hobbs, of course, building, and now they've got a 4-2 record going on, and they can move forward with that. And both these teams have a good future left, I think, in the rest of the season, and good chances at playoff soccer.
I think you are absolutely right. And with that, my friends, we will put a wrap on it. Our final score tonight, it is Hobbs 3, Lovington 1. This has been an exclusive presentation of Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports. Good night, everybody.